the fine-tuning of the universe. Well, this is the point where I wanted to tell you that actually you are the one who have an outdated version of science. If you read newer studies, for example, Victor Stenger, you will see that there is no such thing as a fine-tuned universe. You can actually change some of the variables of the universe, and you still get stable systems. You talked about the origin of the universe. Well, I can see a brown table, and I won't say that this brown table is brown because a brown God made it brown. I mean, where do you take your conclusions from? You say God is the ultimate cause. Well, okay, who caused the cause? Who caused God? What caused God? And even, why are you framing the question like this? Why are you using the question word who or what? When you say who created the universe, you are a priori presupposing an entity, which is of course taken out of thin air. You are begging the answer. You said that the flying spaghetti monster is a stupid figure. Well, I'm sure you offended a lot of believers in the flying spaghetti monster. Well, what if I say that your God is a stupid figure? What if some other guy from the other side of the planet says, well, my God is the ultimate one, he's the biggest one, and he's not limited. Your God is limited. My God is unlimited. So again, I don't see how you want to convince us of your statements. As I said earlier, you have to take, it's not a belief if I say that science has a naturalistic approach when it does science. Science is a verb. It's not a belief system. It doesn't have dogmas. And neither does atheism have dogmas. I explained earlier to you what it means to make progress. So I'm not going to repeat myself here. And you said that it's not scientific to say that there is no God. Well, no one is claiming that. Science says that it's impossible to comment on God. And why is it impossible? Remember the brown table, or Zeus. Well, you said that theism should be taken seriously in science, and then you say that theism is a philosophy. Well, where do we have this kind of discourse that philosophy or philosophical attitudes to anything should be counted as factual or empirical? Nowhere. If you say that because historically Christianity worked well, as you put it, with certain scientists, and then you say that it's possible for these two worldviews to be compatible. Again, this is a non sequitur. Again, I don't agree with you how you can prove this. I mean, I gave you an example of Francis Collins. I can mention to you Sir Isaac Newton, who was an alchemist. He was running a fire all the time in the corner of his room, in case he finds a solution how to turn things into gold. Or I have to mention the case of the Belgian Catholic Monsignor George Lemaitre, who was a Catholic Monsignor. He was a highly estimated person in Belgium. He taught at the University Louvain, and already in the 1920s, in the time of Einstein, he proposed a theory that was later to be called the Big Bang. And he quarreled with Einstein, and in the end, Lemaitre was right. And he went to the Vatican. He went to the Pope, Pius XI, And the Pope was so exhilarated about his discovery that he said, Mr. Lemaitre, if you want, I can make your discovery a dogma. I will tell the people that they must believe it. And Lemaitre replied, well, with all due respect, your holiness, yes, that would be missing the point of science. So,
okay. Thank you. Now, thank you both. It was really intensive. Yeah. I'm sorry for the heat. I don't know how to turn on the van. I think it's turned on, but maybe we just breathe too much. I don't know. What follows is the selection of a couple of questions, which are not completely my work, but are a joint work of more people, not only me. So I have some questions specifically for one or the other, and some for both of them. And maybe, what time is it? Maybe we'll ask like pose two or three only, not all that I have.
Include the audience?
Yeah, but maybe if the audience is not included now, maybe with some questions later on. There is another lecture of Mr. Gustavsson, and we can continue the debate in the cell, Celica. So, if is it the cell? Yeah, right. A question for Mr. Szabo. It's actually connected to what you already mentioned before, but I will pose it anyway. It goes like this: is the naturalistic worldview necessary for natural sciences? Does, for instance, a biologist have to have a naturalistic worldview to be as productive as a biologist? If yes, is it enough to share this worldview hypothetically, or must she or he really believe it? How about a biologist who is Marxist or a Muslim? Is she or he per default a bad biologist? It is really of advantage for a physicist to naively accept a physical paradigm as something simply given without historical consideration.
Yes. Thank you for the question. Well, as you might remember, I answered this question quite properly some time ago, about 60 to 70% of it. I can repeat myself, but it would be tedious to the audience. Maybe I can take it further. Imagine that you are being chased by a lion, and while running, you are thinking about, should I use my supernaturalistic approach or my naturalistic approach? If you use your supernaturalistic approach and start praying and trying to wish away the lion, you'll be dead. So, taken to extremes, supernaturalism can kill you. It will lead. So, it's an extreme case, but it's not wrong. I think it's an argument. You should really do something else. Or how about some religious groups? For example, take Jehovah's Witnesses. You know their creeds. You know they have their dogmas. For example, that they believe that the person has the soul inside his veins, inside his blood veins, and that's the reason why they don't allow blood transfusions in the first place. And we really see children dying unnecessarily, even though we have the best medical help prepared for them on the OP. But they are refusing it. They think they are doing the child a favor by not letting the doctors do what they have to do. They rather see the child bleed to death. Or take the example of, I think it was in Sweden, I think in the 70s, if you remember. Do you still have the Church of Scientology?
Probably.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Do you have problems with them?
Sure. Yeah. Who doesn't?
Yes. There are many controversies. I'm going to mention only one. Again, what happens when you use the supernaturalistic worldview, the one that you are trying to prove to us that it's the only correct one. The Scientologists have an electronic device that they call an e-meter. This is an e-meter, and if you go to